KBYG News on a Thursday morning, 68 degrees starting things out. Good morning, I'm Mike Henry. Thanks for coming along. And we welcome in studio our guests with the Forsyth Independent School District for our regular visit. Of course, Superintendent Randy Johnson, and our extra special guest this morning, Band Director at the Forsyth ISD, Jim Rhodes. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you
So
for
much
having
appreciate
us.
you dropping in bright and early to talk to us. I'll start with you, Superintendent, just because you're the superintendent, but I know we'll have a lot of the conversation with Mr. Rhodes as well this morning. But how are things going there at the Forsyth ISD?
Great. It's going great. You know, we're seeing a little bit of temperature change, and we're feeling that in the school too. That seasons are starting to change. We're well into football season, volleyball season, cross country season, marching season that we'll get to talk about today. And you know, this is a prime time for our kids to be at school and learning. So I want to encourage everybody to get your kids up, get them to school, and let's have a great day at school. But things are going well. Really proud of our district, and we brought in several new teachers this year. It's been kind of a topic among the administrators recently as we're starting our evaluations and doing some of that stuff. And we are really excited of the folks that have come in to join the Forsyth staff. So it's going well. Thank you.
Jim Rhodes, 22 years here at the Forsyth ISD.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And it's my understanding, and this is you've already made this official with everybody. You'll be retiring after this year.
Yes. I've had a great career, and I'm finishing up this year. It'll be 44 years total at the end of this year. And that's a great career in band directing, and had a long longevity with that, and loved it. Worked with many great people and students, and you can tell it's kind of time to retire a little bit now.
Well, I think a lot of people would disagree. They would like to just kind of have you there permanently in a perpetual motion machine. But we all move on. You've got some other things you're going to want to do in retirement and things like that. But thanks so much for what you've done so far at the Forsyth band program. If I just started mentioning all the different things, we'd be here for a day or two. So we'll kind of focus on where we're at right now. It is, as Superintendent Johnson mentioned, we are smack dab in the middle of the beginning of this school year with the football and the band, and of course the band contest. Your focus right now is obviously marching and your UIL marching contest show. Where are you on that? I know that sort of evolves over the first few weeks of school, and by now, are you getting near to where you're ready for contests? Still working some kinks out? What's going on there?
Yeah, things are going really good for us. Well, we're knee deep in teaching drill to the kids, so we're out on that pavement every morning trying to teach them where to move, where to stop, playing, all that kind of thing. And so it's a process that goes through. We're right at the tail end of it, so I'll be glad, because then you can start polishing it and working on it and making it extra special and getting all that music played off and so forth. But we're off to a great start. We're trying to tell the story of Ben-Hur this year.
Oh, wow.
That is our show. It's not the original music like from the movie, but it's special written for us. But it's that epic kind of music. I love epic music. Braveheart, things like that, that are big and bold, and so we're going to
Any chariots going to show
up? Yes, well, absolutely yes. We are going to have some things, have some great people working on a few projects for me.
About how many kiddos do you hit the field with?
We have 126 this year, and that's 9 through 12, and we've been able to hold that for many, many years. A few years, last year we used a few 8th graders, but then we went back to our normal this year. But with 9 through 12, and so, for a small school, that's fantastic, in my opinion, to have that many kids that do everything, as we all know.
No doubt you've got an award-winning program year after year after year. Will you pass along your secret? What is that all about?
Well, we have had some great success at Forsyth, and it didn't start out that way. It's a building thing when you first take over from someone, and kids are not buying into it yet, but graduations and things like that, all of a sudden the kids come up that only you've taught. And so as that's happened, we have the state marching contest, we've been able to go 10 times now, and that's every other year. So there's 20 years of your life right there. And so I'm very, very proud of that. We've had an honor band there, and we've gone to San Antonio and played down there. I've taken kids to do workshops down there because people want to know, how do you get that done in a small school and you don't have a lot of time to deal with? And we just try to make it easy for kids to be in band, as easy as we possibly can. We're not working in the morning. We're not working late at night. We're not working every hour we can. We do what we can because most of our kids don't live in Four Sands. They have to come in that way. So I've designed a plan. So that's how it kind of worked for us.
You and I are both tuba players.
Yes, we are.
You're probably a better tuba player than me, but that's how I got through high school band in Coahoma. But I'm going to ask you to share a secret if you've got one. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite section or a favorite type of part of the band that's near and dearest to your heart?
Well, I've always
not to show too much favoritism, but you know what I mean.
I've always said if I had to do it over again, I would play French horn because I just have learned to love that sound, and I, of course, taught myself how to play that. So I'm always looking over at the French horn section, trying to enjoy that moment because they have some great melodies and stuff to do. But really, low brass has been my thing all the time. And I love the woodwinds, and I've learned to teach woodwinds and how to get that done. And I've had some great people to help me, too, by the way. But low brass is my thing, and all those trombones and baritones and tubas, and that's something I really enjoy.
When I was younger, it seemed like everybody who joined band, everybody wanted to be a trumpet player. Maybe that's changed over the years, but you obviously, as an instructor, as a teacher, you have to assemble a band and a band program that has all the components. So I feel you often have to steer kids different directions and get them interested. That's another part of the complexity of running a high school band program, is that everybody can't be the quarterback of the football team.
Absolutely. And that begins in 6th grade when the kids come in. And now you're talking about what used to be popular, alto saxophone and drums. Everybody wants to do that. And so we have this great big group of 60, 70 kids, and we go, now we got to have a little bit of everything so that we can have a band. We don't just need a quarterback. And I kind of go through that so they understand that some. So you're convincing kids to play certain things so that you have that instrumentation when we get them all together later.
How soon do you start working on your concert season? Does that ever overlap with the marching part of the program, or do you just, once marching's done, then you just jump right into concert season?
We just let one thing end and then start the next.
Now, in your head, you obviously have a plan.
Yes, you're always looking ahead. Always looking ahead. What's
you
coming
probably,
up.
You probably last year this time had this year's ideas already working.
Absolutely. This show we were doing this year, we developed it last spring. And we had it specially written, and then we've already played it on our spring concert last year. So they're already familiar with it. Our 8th graders coming up, we're already working with them during their 8th grade class. So when they all assemble for summer band in the first part of August, they're familiar with that music for sure, and that gets you off to a good start.
On your marching program right now with the theme Ben-Hur and all of that, where is the wow part of this for you? Is it the music, the physicality, the way it looks, or is it all of those? I mean, where would you say the wow factor is in this presentation?
Well, you're judged
anyway.
Definitely on the playing. And when you go to competitions, there'll be 3 judges that judge that playing the most, and then there'll be 2 that'll do the marching. So you've got to get a good balance with that. And I'm a very visual person, meaning I've got to get up high and look down at what those kids are doing instead of just being on the ground level with them. And I can find things quickly as they're starting to step off or move or whatever. So I'm on that constantly about stopping and starting and so forth. But the music is the wow factor. That's what gets people excited. That's what when you're playing, extra strong, or you've quietened down and you've turned back field, and you're just trying to get all that mixture of balance and blend with all those kids. So I think the wow is the music, and that's why I pick it like that every year.
What's always amazed me is that you can rehearse in the band hall, and rehearse and rehearse and rehearse and rehearse musically, but it's a whole different thing once you get out there and all these moving parts, all these, it's a physical activity. I don't, Randy, you and I couldn't strap on an instrument and hop up and down the field playing an instrument and moving around and all that for longer than 30 seconds before we pass out.
No. You try and carry those drums around for an extended period of time, and they're weighing on your shoulders and that little harness and so on. You're absolutely right. In fact, they can get a PE credit for being in marching band because of exactly what you're talking about.
So, Jim, what is the challenge there when you're thinking all this through as far as the marching contest? The music, as you say, is a very key component. Obviously, you want it to sound good, but then when you get them out there and you've got all this motion going on and the sounds going all kinds of different ways, you've got to learn to balance that out as well for the audience that you're presenting to and the judges, of course.
Yes, absolutely. You're right. When you get outside, it's a total different ball game, and then there's space around you, and there's distance from kids, for that. And I say, you can hear yourself now, can't you? We're just not in the band hall playing with the better acoustics, And so, kids can stand and play, and then they can march. Now put the two together. That's the trick of it, because coordination comes into play and being in step. And can I move and play? A lot of freshmen right off the bat, they won't hardly play a little bit because they're worried about moving and stopping and starting. So, every time we have a game, did you play a few more notes? I have my upperclassmen that are carrying the load. But it's a big deal learning how to move and play at the same time. And when they ever get that down, then that show starts to sparkle.
We're talking to Jim Rhodes, the Fort Sand Independent School District Band Director and Superintendent of Fort Sand ISD, Randy Johnson. We'll take a break. Back with a wrap-up right after this.
The largest selection of clean, quality, pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in Big Spring is waiting for you at 87 Auto Sales at 210 South Gregg. Stop by today and visit with the friendly staff. 87 Auto Sales has been serving Big Spring for over 45 years. No matter your budget, 87 Auto Sales has a quality pre-owned automobile for you. Be sure to ask about in-house financing. Join the hundreds of satisfied customers. Open Monday through Saturday 8 to 6 or until the last customer is served. 87 Auto Sales, 210 South Gregg. Right on the corner, right on the price.
Welcome back. Our final moments with our guest, Superintendent Randy Johnson of Fort Sand School District and the band director, Jim Rhodes. After over 2 decades of service, teaching, leadership, all these things, I don't want to get you all teared up or too poignant, but I do want to offer you an opportunity just to, speak your heart at this moment if you'd like to. You don't have a prepared speech or anything like that, but I would want to, we've got a microphone in front of you and I want to offer you that opportunity.
Well, thank you, Mike. Thinking about retiring, it's kind of surreal to think about that, and because this is the only thing I've ever done. And so you can kind of get still and think about it and kind of get a little emotional if you want to about it. But everybody's working to retire at some point.
Right.
And I don't want, and I'm not being asked to leave, or there's no pressure for any of that. But you can feel the climbing of the bleachers and the driving the buses and the physicality of being a band director. We're busy and moving all the time, and you're running the kids and over here, and you're up and down and go up to the attic and get this down and all that. And so after a while, that starts to play a little bit, on you as you're doing that. But it's been a great run. And I want to mention that my assistant is Chance Mellendorf, and he's been there 5 or 6 years now with us. And his wife, Misty, does our color guard, and I'm very proud of the work that those guys have done for me, too. It's an effort for all of us to be there. I'm supposed to be the leader, and I try to be that. And it's been a great deal for me. I've been through a few superintendents. I've been through lots of principals, different faculty members, and it's just been steady for me to adapt. And it's been a great run for me, and I'm going to miss that. My wife still needs to teach a little more, so we're going to stay around the area just a little bit more. And I can judge bands. I can go clinic bands. I can help if I'm needed. If Mr. Johnson needed me for anything, I'm just going to be around a little bit. So I'm not going off and hide. But thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning. It's been a great run, and lots of wonderful kids have gone through that program that I'll never forget.
And once you do finally retire, just bring your tuba over to my house. We'll play some duets.
Hey, I can do that. Sounds great. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Jim Rhodes, for everything you do and have done. And Superintendent Randy Johnson, I'll give you the final word today.
Well, I just want to echo what you just said, Mike. We thank Jim and Nancy for their service to our school district over the years and to education even longer than that. Wonderful people. I don't know if everybody understands what Jim has done, not only in Forsan, but really as a leader across the state in this band world. We've had the opportunity to travel with them. With Jim and Nancy to competitions and so on, and band directors hail him from everywhere we go and yell, "Hey Jim, come over here and come talk to us," and stop. It's kind of irritating to be with them and try and get anywhere because everybody wants to talk to him. But it's great. We appreciate all their service to our kids and our community, and we do hope that they will stick around. And I know Mrs. Rhodes, we're counting on her to continue to be a leader at our elementary school. She's a wonderful kindergarten teacher for us, and Jim, there's lots of things that we hope to use him for in the future too. So it's not an end. But there certainly is going to be a big transition coming for our band program, and we will start a process in the spring to try and figure out what we need to do to keep that program strong and keep it going. But right now we're enjoying celebrating with Mr. Rhodes as we go through this marching season and watch his leadership and watch the success that the kids will have in the next couple months.
Superintendent and Mr. Band Director, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck with the Buffaloes and your football coming up as well. This is KBYG News. KBYG News.